Welcome back to America Decides. It was not an April Fool's. 2 segments with Amie Parnes and Jonathan Allen. Their book, Fight. I want to talk about Biden and Kamala Harris, because there was something fascinating, absolutely astonishing to me that I read. And I'm going to read the quote. This is President Biden talking to Vice President Harris the night before her debate, her one and only debate with Donald Trump. No longer able to defend his own record, he expected Harris to protect his legacy. Whether she won or lost the election, he thought, she would only harm him by publicly distancing herself from him. He needed just 3 words to convey how much all that mattered to him. No daylight, kid. Setting aside for a moment the vaguely insulting reference to her as a kid, whether she won or lost the election? Excuse me, your legacy is deeply attached to that outcome. Yeah. It would seem to me, and based on my experience, and I know yours, in that moment you say, whatever you have to do to win, even if it means torching me in full public view, you do what you have to do to win.
Yeah, I know.
That seems to me a very revealing part of this relationship.
It was, and what we reveal in this book is that there are almost 2 layers of things going on right now, if you will. There's the staff sort of agreement where they're giving them kind of the leeway to have daylight, but the principals themselves have reached this agreement not, for her not to have daylight. So there is all kinds of confusion, and we learn more about that in this book. But yeah.
And Garrett, I think to the morality point, or the morality of politics such as that goes, once he's no longer the candidate, she's the one, and he doesn't realize that he's not willing to accept it. He wants it to still be him. He wants to be in control of things, and he's not willing to have his legacy torched, to your point, in order to make her president of the United States if she thinks that's what is best. And that is, to your point, astonishing.
And look at the moment on The View when she goes on The View. And right. I mean, it was shocking to a lot of people, including her campaign staff who sat there.
Just a quick reminder, she goes on The View and she's asked, is there anything you would do differently? And she pauses, looks to the rafters for a second and says, not that I can think of, or some words to that effect.
Exactly.
And that becomes, it took a week, surprisingly long time for the Trump campaign to turn around, but it turned around an ad that did not work to her advantage.
No, exactly.
That's putting it mildly.
Right. And her staff was almost shocked that she said that because they had prepared for that moment.
Jonathan, the book goes into some very important detail about the Trump view of this whole thing. Beat him on the debate stage, that is to say, Biden, rise in the polls, then there's a switch. Then they see this momentum for Harris. But underneath all of those headlines and rallies and television ads, they're fundamentals that they don't see moving. And that is part of their continuous level of confidence about where this thing, with some ups and downs, would ultimately land.
Yeah, his campaign staff is telling him to kind of, they don't tell him to chill out. It's President Trump. Nobody tells him to chill out. But they are trying to, from the moment she gets in and her numbers start to go up, certainly from where Biden's were, and looks like it's going to be a more competitive race, his team tries to prepare him for the idea that it's going to get a lot closer. And at the same time, once it starts getting closer, Trump starts getting agitated. He taps Corey Lewandowski, his former campaign manager, says, go down to the campaign headquarters, see what's going on. Lewandowski goes in there, mucks around, decides he's going to argue that Susie Wiles, the campaign manager, and Chris LaCivita, the senior advisor, are somehow bilking Trump or running a bad budget because he knows Trump cares about that. He cares about the money stuff. And ultimately, Trump shuts Lewandowski down. There's a really, hopefully readers will take a look, a really, I think, graphic shutdown in the book, how that happened on Trump Force One. But the point of all of this is, at the moment where Donald Trump could have chosen more chaos or could have chosen more stability in his own campaign, he chose more stability, and it's very unusual for him. He has not chosen that in campaigns before. He's not chosen that in the White House before. But in order to win this time, after losing the last time, he was willing to put aside his basic gut instinct.
Amie, near the end of the book, there are lots of Democratic assessments about what happened, what went wrong. This one struck me. You can't gaslight the American people about Afghanistan, gaslight them about inflation, gaslight them about the president's decline, and think none of that's going to add up to a political problem, said one veteran Democratic strategist who worked on past presidential campaigns.
Yeah.
And then you write, Kamala Harris had been gaslit too.
She was shocked in the end to find out that she had lost, Tim Walz was also shocked to find out, and we go into detail. We put you inside the room as they find out that they have lost the campaign. Both of them can't find the words. They were led to believe that they were winning and that they would win. And so we take you inside to learn that they were completely shocked by the outcome. She went and campaigned and saw these large crowds. She bought into the hype of the vibe around her campaign when in fact it wasn't necessarily true.
Amie Parnes, Jonathan Allen, congratulations. The book is called Fight. It's available everywhere. Today's pub date. Thanks so much for being here.